Welcome back, everyone. I am the Depressed Dior, and this is Arkham Horror the card game, doing the Cyclopean Foundation, or Foundations, with Agnes Baker and Marion Tavares. So we're doing the last scenario, which is Tomb of Dead Dreams. The worst has come to pass. The architects have used their skill and knowledge to bend space and raise Relier to the surface. In accordance with the cult's prophecies, once Relier has risen, their master Cthulhu will reign over all the world, dooming humanity to death and madness. And yet Cthulhu sleeps. The dread apparition that you had seen in dreams and visions has yet to rise from its tomb. Is this because of the sudden juxtaposition that the architects have acted so far out of the island cycle? You scan the broken landscape in front of you for any sign of life and see several figures wandering over the soapy stone monoliths. They appear to be the architects, but they roam aimlessly, apparently euphoric, but no longer sound mind. The strain of their project must have snapped their psyches. It was not fully completed. We sabotaged it, so it's going to be intro 2. Your interference in the cult's project on Crayosha forced the architects to finish an incomplete ritual. As you stand atop the ruins of a broken pillar, you can see three others floating amid the warped landscape. These anchors must be the failsafes the cult set up to keep Relier transposed to the surface. They are the only easily discernible structures on the unnatural island, though they seem to fade and shift with each step you take. The pillars are hidden by the impossible topography of Relier, leaving you no other option but to scour the island yourself. You must send Relier back to the bottom of the sea, or else doom awaits the world. Alright, we definitely have 20 or more notice, so let's go ahead and get our countermeasures. Let's try that again, shall we? There we go. Add these to the deck. Put the ruins of Relier location into play oriented up, and the Cyclopean Acropolis location into play oriented down. We'll talk about orientation a bit. Randomly choose 10 of the 12 warped island locations and put them into play in the following orientations. Three left, 3 right, 2 up, 2 down. Okay, so here are the 12 locations. I'm going to just do these in order. So 3 lefts. First question, what is classified as left? Okay, the name on the left. Left. The positions don't matter, it's just orientation that matters. 3 rights. And as always, if I have to restart for any reason, I will re-randomize these. 2 ups. And then 2 downs. Let's do it like this, actually. All right. And I'm guessing the rest just gets set aside. There's 2 others, but I don't think it matters. All right, set the following cards out of play. Okay, each investigator searches the collection for a random basic madness weakness. Let's go ahead and do that. We got amnesia for Agnes, and stupor. Okay, stupor is the one that it's for investigating, isn't it? Yeah, parlay, draw, and investigate. But you can heal it, so that's the good news. But yeah, amnesia, it's going to be a rough one. All right, the just to verify. Yeah, madness. I just have to make sure it's it's all correct. All right, campaign log. If the architect's project was sabotaged, which it was, randomly choose 3 of the of the 6 impossible pillar locations and set them aside out of play. Or remove each of the other impossible pillar from the game. All right, we're going to shuffle and set aside 3 of these, and then the rest will be not used. Okay, possible pillars. Sorry for zooming around like that. All right, for every 12 notice we have, we start with a copy of Ia into play. We have 26, so we start with 2 of them. Otherwise, we start with literally the only 2. Okay. So orientation, this is just what it means. There's going to be references to orientation as well as the orientation of your own cards. So that is going to be how it works. All right, I'm going to shuffle the encounter deck. I'll set this aside because it's not needed anymore. There are 3 agendas. The Dead God Stirs. You tread in the domain of the dead Dreamer Cthulhu. How long will it be until he awakens? You have no recourse but to work quicker than you ever have before and hope beyond hope. Clues cannot be discovered from relay locations whose orientations does not match the orientation of your investigator mini card. Each location is connected to each other location during the enemy phase, so hunters can just chase us down. There are 2 acts, Cyclopean Landscape. To find and destroy the pillars holding Relie at the surface, you will first have to explore the island to make sense of its impossible perspectives. Action, rotate your investigator mini card 90 degrees clockwise or counterclockwise. Any investigator may place one of their clues on their location to reduce this ability cost by 1 action, so it becomes a lightning bolt. Reaction, after you defeat an enemy, gain a clue from the token bank. Lightning bolt, spend 2 clues as a group, choose and reveal 2 warped island locations in play. If each warped island location is revealed, you must immediately advance. Okay, so our first goal is to get enough clues to essentially reveal all of the warped island locations. Warped island locations. Investigators cannot enter warped island. Vast angles and stone surfaces, surfaces too great to belong to anything right or proper for this earth, and impious with impossible images and hieroglyphs. Also, where are we starting? We're going to be starting at the ruins of Relie. Where are my cards? My cards have gone missing. There they are. They were still in the volcano. All right, we're going to be starting at the ruins of Relie. Relie, Jonathan and his men were awed by the cosmic majesty of this dripping Babylon of elder daemons. They must have guessed without guidance that it was nothing. It was nothing of this or of any sane planet. And then up here we have the Cyclopean Acropolis, which is oriented upside down. The rest followed him and looked curiously at the immense carved door with the now familiar squid dragon bas relief. It was Johannesson said, like a great barn door. All right, I'm going to put a break here, and we'll do tarot cards and all that good stuff. Okay, let's do tarot cards first. Each time each investigator would... Okay, I don't care about that one. Every time you get an Elder Sign, you get damage. You can heal damage or horror. And then... Oh god, these are all kind of bad. I'll take the Elder Sign one. Yeah, the one I skipped over was when you run out of cards, you can shuffle the bottom 10 cards of their discard pile back into their deck, which isn't as... It can be potentially useful, but not really. And the Fool is extra XP, which we don't need for the final scenario. Alright, so it was kind of a whiff there, but that's okay. As for Marion, increase combat, increase health, and deal with auto fails. I will deal with the auto fail. Alright. Now starting out with 5 actions this time, I guess. Alright. Draw a hand. Alright, we want Pete Sylvester, we want a Shriveling. The rest of this we can tag out for now. Alright, one of our emergency caches. So what we have an extra weakness and 2 extra story cards. Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay, shuffle, draw. Oop. There we go. Field agent. We're going to tag out the rest of these. Okay, that is a starting hand. Yep, that is a definite starting hand there. Okay, shuffle, shuffle. All right, we'll flip this over and begin. 3 Shroud, 2 Clues. Non-Euclidean, you will shuffle your deck. Action, move directly to a revealed copy of Warped Island. Action, move directly to Ruins Aurelia. Investigators at any copy of Warped Island may activate this ability. So this is how you get back. Navigating the island takes every fiber of your concentration. The looming monoliths and deep sea flora mix, overlap, and intersect without rhyme or reason. Okay, and we have 2 Ias that we need to deal with, which that's going to be a thing that we have to do. All right. First action, I'm going to go ahead and do a Stand Together, level 3. Gain 2 resources, draw 2 cards. Gain 2 resources, draw 2 cards. I will use my ability to draw another card, and then off of that, I will go ahead and play a Ever Vigilant. I will spend 3 to get out a Field Agent. I will spend 2 to get out of Nautical Charts, and then the remaining 2 can go over here. I'll spend 2 to go ahead and get out Captivating Performance. I will spend 2 to go ahead and get out Pete Sylvester. And then that'll be it. Oh yeah, I didn't talk about symbols. Skull, minus X. X is equal to 1 plus the number of inescapable reach cards in play, so right now it's 1. Cultist is minus 3 if the orientation of your location and your investigator minicard do not match, you take a horror no matter what. Taglet is minus 3, and if you fail after this test resolves, rotate your investigator minicard 90 degrees clockwise or counterclockwise. And then Elder Thing is minus 3 if Cthulhu is at your location, this test auto fails. Alright, so still Marion's turn. I'm going to go ahead and so I'm at 4-3 right now. I'll go ahead and take a horror on Field Agent to grab 1 clue. I'm going to go ahead and draw a card. Okay. And then I'm going to spend 1 to do Winging It. I'll be 4-2, and I will go ahead and commit a Glimmer of Hope to go 5-2. Okay, that's minus 3. I do pass. I get 1 clue. All right. So I can spend 2 clues to reveal a Warped Island location in play. I'm going to go ahead and handle the upright ones since I'm upright right now. So I'll spend 2 clues right now to do that. Okay. 3 Shroud, 2 clues. Warped Island is connected to each other revealed really location in play that is oriented down. So this can actually go to an upside down location. On Euclidean, rotate your investigator mini card 180 degrees or discard the top card of your deck. Choose 1. Good to know. All right, Agnes. Never a dull moment here. Okay. I want to keep this simple. I'm going to go ahead and get out the Arcane Initiate. I will take the damage, or take the horror, sorry. I'll search top 3. I'll take the Breathless Sleeper. So that's a play action. So I can go 6-5 with this. I'm going to go ahead and try to deal with an Ia. I'll commit an Heirloom of Hyperborea. Sorry. This will bring us up to 8-5. We get rid of one of them. And then I'm going to go ahead and go 6-5. And just hope. Nope. I'm in the same orientation, so I'm good to go. All right. Enemy phase upkeep. Alright, at the end of turn, discard the top 3 cards and then draw every weakness. This can get pretty dangerous. I have to draw the weakness. Okay. Thankfully we got rid of at least one of them. All right, first doom. I'll shuffle the encounter deck because I don't remember if I did. And we'll see what we get. Impossible Perspective. All right, I'll go 6-3. I pass, and I actually can use the star. I'll heal horror off myself. Lucid Worshipper. Okay. Good times had by all. All right. Okie dokie. I'm going to start with Agnes. I'll search top 3. Spectral Shield, perfect. All right, I'm going to go ahead and spend 3 to get out a Breathless Sleeper. Actually, we'll get out Shriveling. And then I'm going to fight Lucid Worshipper with a Shriveling. This will put us at 9-3. Alright, I will take 2 Horror, which I'll put both on you. I'll do 3 damage to you. Killing you immediately. So I've played, I've fought. I'll activate. I'll go 6-5 here. We'll go 7-5 with the Trusted. It's only -1. I do pass. I'll get rid of the other Ia. Alright, so I played. I fought. I activated. I can go ahead and do Captivating Performance as well to draw a card. I could, yeah, I have to because there's not really many options for moving. The only place I can move directly to is the Acropolis up there. All right. Also, I'll heal 1 horror off of me. Okay. Meanwhile, over here, let's go ahead and we'll spend an action to move to this location. I have to shuffle my deck. Deck is shuffled. I will go ahead and spend 1 to use the Winging It from the discard. Didn't mean to shuffle it, but that's okay. 4-2. We pass. We'll get 2 clues, and this will get shuffled back into the deck. And then after that's resolved, I will draw a card. I will not chain off any abilities off of this. Instead, I'm just going to draw 1 more card. Okay. Also, I'll go ahead and spend these 2 clues to go ahead and reveal another location. So this connects directly to a oriented down. So I'm actually going to go ahead and flip one of the down locations. Yeah, these all say just Warped Island. They just all have different effects. 3 Shroud, 2 clues. This one's also connected to a down location. So yeah, these connections are all kind of all over the place. Rotate your Investigator mini card 90 degrees or discard the top card of your deck. Okay. That is it for Marion. That is it for Agnes. Enemy phase, no enemies. Upkeep. Oh, I did kill an enemy. So when I kill an enemy, I do get a clue from the token bank. Forgot about that. Okay. Okay. Mythos. Second doom. Lucid Worshipper. And a Deep One Raider. Okay. All right, investigation phase. I'm going to go ahead and start with Agnes. I'll search top 3. I will take a Breath of the Sleeper. I'll go ahead and fight with a Shriveling. This will be 9-3. Alright, I will take 2 Horror for this. I'll take 1, take 1. But I do kill it. I also get a clue from the token bank. I will go ahead and Lightning Bolt spin those clues to reveal Warped Island. I'll go ahead and reveal one of the remaining upright one. This one connects to an Orient left, which will be one of these ones up here. All right. Next, so I did a fight action. I'm going to do a So I did a fight action. I'm trying to keep up with the captivating performance here. Yeah, I should have went for the I should have went with Eyes of the Dreamer, not Breath of the Sleeper. That was my bad. That's okay. We'll manage. I think I'm not going to worry about the captivating performance this round. Instead, I'm just going to do a emergency cache to get 3 resources and draw a card. And then I will spend 3 resources to get out Breath of the Sleeper. And then I'll spend 1 to fast out a Spectral Shield. And then I'll heal off the Pete Sylvester there. Alright. And then over here with Marion, let's go ahead and spend 1 to do a sweeping kick on this guy. Also, this agility is wrong. Should be 4. Yep. All right. This will put us at 7-4. All right. We do pass. My orientation does match, so we're not going to suffer anything from that. We'll do 2 damage and then auto evade you. I'll use my ability to draw a card. So this will connect to a down location. I'm going to go ahead and move, and the non-locality, and I'll let myself get flipped upside down. Yeah, this is what I have to keep track of now. All right, I'm going to go ahead and investigate using nautical charts. We'll go 5-3. That is -3. I will spend 1 to do a lucky. To pass the check, I will draw a card. I will discard a Winging It to get 2 clues. I will spend those clues immediately to go ahead and reveal another location. We'll reveal an Orient left. Okay, this one is connected to a location that is oriented right. Okay, and that is everyone. Enemy phase, upkeep. This guy will unexhaust. I'm not too well. The annoying thing about him is he'll just go after Marion no matter what. There's not really much I can do about that. But that's okay. If I get punched for 1 and 1, that's fine. Alright, upkeep. And upkeep. Stupor. That's annoying. It's not too bad because we've only been doing 1 investigate per turn, but could have been better. Abyssal Visions, this is where you have to draw an extra token. I'm okay with that. Oh, sorry, wrong thing. Archaic Evils, top 3 cards. 1, a 2, a 3. I will remove them all from the game. Bye-bye ring. Losing a Glimmer of Hope kind of sucks, but the rest of it's actually not that bad. Alright, investigation phase. So I could go and hunt this guy down. I might do that. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. So I'm going to do an activate, but this also going to be treated as a move, which I just realized I could. So yeah, I'll treat it as a move. I'll move to here. I'll shuffle my deck. Get engaged by you. I will fight you with a Breath of the Sleeper. This will put us at 6-4. I'll go 7-4 with Pete. Okay, we'll take the -2. We'll do 1 damage, kill you, get a clue from the bank. Alright. So I moved, I fought. I'll search top 3 for a Breath of the Sleeper. I'll go ahead and play a Emergency Cache, get 3 resources and a card. Okay. So I moved, I fought. Oh, actually, yeah, I moved, I fought, I played, and then I'm going to activate. And I'll activate Ruins of Aurelia because it's treated as an activation and move back to here. Actually, if I do that, I would have to discard the top card or flip myself 180 degrees. Sure, I will. I can try to see what the Cyclopean Acropolis is about. Sure, I'll flip over. Yeah, we'll do that. Okie dokie. I mean, it really only matters for it really only matters if in the case of trying to get clues. There might be also some other effects that can also do some things about it. All right, let's go ahead and get going with Marion. Marion's going to move, which is going to trigger this. I'm going to go towards the other. That'll put me at what? If I do this, I have to do counterclockwise. Counterclockwise 90 degrees would be like this. I'll be oriented right. Okay. Yeah, we'll go ahead and move. We have to do Ruins Aurelia, unfortunately, so I'll do that. and then I will move again, which is going to shuffle my deck. And I'll move to Warped Island. And then I'll move one more time and let myself get flipped 180 to get over here. And unfortunately, that's going to be it for my round. So I did only moves and activates, so that's fine. All right. Oh, I heal a horror off of Pete because I didn't take any horror this round. Upkeep. I'm pretty sure I didn't shuffle. 1 second. I did, in fact, shuffle because the Warp Idol was originally on the top, but then I shuffled and then I drew the compass. So it ended up being shuffled to second on top. Who would have thought? All right. Oh, good. all my bad cards. All right. Well, we have the events to at least do something about it. It's just I'll be out of events for a while, unfortunately. All right. This gets discarded at the end of the round. We're at 4th Doom already. We're just not getting anywhere, are we? Dimensional Fold. I am 4 to 3. We'll go 6 to 3. We pass. Grotesque Hallucinations. We have to deal with this. All right. Investigation phase. So we're going to advance at this rate. Unfortunately, I have had no luck on drawing my fancy cards. So it is what it is. All right, let's start with Marion. First things first, we'll Lightning Bolts. Discard these 3 cards to get rid of you. Next, I will spend an action to go ahead and choose a non-weakness card and remove it from the game, which I'll pick a Glimmer of Hope at this point. And discard it. Because, spoiler, it looks like all the locations are 3 Shroud. All right, next I'm going to spend 1 to play a Winging It from the discard. We'll be 4 to 2. We'll go 5 to 2 with Determine. As -3, so I do pass. This will go back into my hand. I'll get 2 clues here. This will get shuffled back into the deck. I'll use my ability to draw a card. And I'll spend 2 clues. Where's this connect to, by the way? Oriented right. And this place will rotate me 90 degrees clockwise. Fortunately, I won't be able to get to where I want to be with that. Well, let's spend 2 clues. We'll reveal another one of the left locations. Alright, this one's connected to another right location, and it flips 180. Alright, and then for my last action, I will go ahead and let myself get rotated back to upright over here. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, a little sluggish here. There's not really much I can do about it. I am oriented down, so I'm going to go ahead and move just to see what this location is about. Has 2 clues, 4 Shroud. non-liquid again, take a damage or horror action, move to any reveal location. After this movement concludes, you may rotate your investigator mini card to any orientation. The sheer scale of the monolithic ruins fills you with dread. It's also a victory 1 for whatever reason. Also, since I left this location, I have to shuffle the deck. Alright, so I moved. I'm going to spend 3 to go ahead and replace my Shriveling. Actually, I'm going to replace my Breath of the Sleeper with an Eyes of the Dreamer. I'm going to go ahead and investigate with Eyes of the Dreamer. We'll go 6 to 4. I will spend 1 charge. Alright, I'll take the +1 and get 1 clue. So I moved, played, and then I investigated. I'm going to go ahead and do Captivating Performance to do an activation now, and I'll spend another charge. Okay, I'll take the -1 and get the other clue. And then I will proceed to use 2 clues to reveal this down location. Warped Island is connected to each other revealed location in play that is oriented up. And you rotate 180 degrees to get out of there. Okay. That is it for that. I will go ahead and search top 3. Well, at least I get to shuffle my deck. Oh my god, that amnesia is going to kill me. I forgot. I just realized that's a thing I have to deal with. Alright. Well, it gets shuffled at least. That's everybody. Upkeep. Upkeep. Mythos. We advance. Awoken from death. A grinding sound reverberates throughout the island. The deep but shrill scraping of stone against stone. Through the inconstant landscape rises a titanic figure. The only thing clearly visible on the island from any angle. Its arms and wings raise as its booming voice carries terror through the air with it. The Lord of Relia has awoken. Spawn the set-aside Cthulhu next to the agenda deck. Place each of the set-aside copies of Inescapable Reach next to the agenda deck face down. Place 1 horror on agenda 2. Okay, place 1 horror on the agenda. Alright, the Great Dreamer's Pursuit. The terrible squid dragon bears down on you, but the warped terrain of Relia makes it difficult to see just where and when it will strike you. Clues cannot be discovered unless you match orientation. Each location is connected if during enemy phase. At the end of the Mythos phase, shuffle each copy of Inescapable Reach together and flip X of them face up, where X is equal to the amount of horror on the agenda. Okay, so we're just going to shuffle these. Alright, Cthulhu. Ancient One, Elite, Sleeper Reveille, 4 fight, 4 evade, no health, massive. Cthulhu may be evaded with willpower, thank God. When you would evade a Cthulhu, it does not exhaust. Instead, flip the Inescapable Reach card matching your location's orientation face down. At the end of the enemy phase, flip each copy of Inescapable Reach face down. Victory, whatever that symbol is, hits for 2 damage and 2 horror. Alright, so we'll go ahead and continue with the Mythos phase. We still need to do everything else. Corrupting Influence. Deep Progeny. Monster Deep 1, 3 fight, 2 evade, 4 health, Hunter Retaliate. Investigators engaged with Deep Progeny gets -1 to each of their skills, while the orientation of their Investigator minicard does not match their location's orientation. Well, it matches right now. After it engages you, rotate your Investigator card 90 degrees counterclockwise. Now it doesn't match. Okay. Got that going for us. Not much I can do about it either. Alright, into the Mythos phase. There's one horror on this, so we're going to shuffle and flip one of these down. Put Inescapable Reach down into play next to the agenda deck. This effect cannot be cancelled or ignored. Cannot leave play. Cthulhu is considered to be at each location that is oriented down. At the start of the investigator phase, place one Doom on Cthulhu. Flip each copy of Inescapable Reach face down. This effect can cause the current agenda to advance. Okay, so right now we have... right now Agnes is actually engaged with Cthulhu. So, with that in mind... I can evade at 6-4. What I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to, as a fast, I'm going to spend 2 to play a Sword Cane and activate its ability. I can't do any damage, but I can evade. And this actually gives me +1, so I'll be 7-4 with this. Also, skulls are -2 now. Alright, sorry for that sound I just made, but that was the sound of despair. Alright, so I evaded. Yeah, immediately pay the ability below, blah, 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 blah. Alright, well, we'll try evading again. This time we succeed. When you would evade Cthulhu, instead just flip the Inescapable Reach card matching the location's orientation face down. Okay, so now we don't have to worry about you. Alright. I'm going to move. I will take 1 damage or 1 horror, which is just going to get soaked. And then I'm going to move to any reveal location and go to work. So I'll go over here. Alright, I'll go ahead and investigate. So I evaded, moved, investigated. So I'll do Eyes of the Dreamer. Investigate action 6-3. We pass. And then I will do an activate action. And pass again. So I believe that's why it has to take its 3 actions. Different actions for this captivating performance, because unlike haste, where you're just trying to do the same action anyway, since you can treat activates and invest in the specific action as separate things, it's very easy to get 2 different. All right, anyway, I'll spend 2 clues. We have a bunch of lefts and rights that we still need to do. All right, we're gonna go ahead and flip one of the right locations. Okay. Then I'm going to, that is the end of her turn. And I think at this point I'm going to just hold on to what I have, because I'm bound to draw my bad card soon. And I'm going to be stuck with the compulsion, unfortunately. You know what? Yeah, I think that's going to be the plan. Alright. Go to Marion. Okay, so right now I'm -1 to all my stuff, so I'll be 3-3 if I fight right now. But I can go 6-3. Okay, that's the plan. We're going to spend 2 and do a 1-2 punch. I'll go 2 damage automatically. And then I will go 6-3 here. No point in committing. We pass, we'll do another 3 damage, which will kill this, and I will get 1 clue for that. I will use my ability to draw a card. Alright, I can go to any location. I'm oriented left already, so you know what? We'll go ahead and move. Shuffle our deck. We'll go over here. Alright, next. I'll go ahead and investigate this location with a nautical chart. I'll go 5 to 3. I'll go 6 to 3 with a field agent. All right, that is a pass. My orientation does match, so I'm fine on that front. I will discard a winging it and get 2 clues. I will spend those 2 clues immediately. And we'll flip a right location. This one's connected to a down location, rotates you 90 degrees. All right, well, getting there. We have 2 locations left that we have not flipped over. That is it. Enemy phase, nothing going on there. Upkeep. Sign magic. That's actually good. I actually want that. Hollowed mirror, thank God. Mythos. First doom. Incalculable angles. This is going to be agility 3, get +1 difficulty, and gains peril if your orientation of your mini card does not match your current location. It does match. If you fail, take 1 damage and then move to a connecting location. Okay, I am currently 4 to 3. I'll go 6 to 3. Warp stonework. It's going to be placed on this location. Okay, well, I can use this to like warp somewhere else if I need to. All right, investigation phase. So from here, I can go to an up location. First, I'm going to go ahead and fast out a sign magic. Oh, sorry, I forgot the important thing. Down again. All right. I will attempt to evade with Swordcade. 7 to 4. We pass. And since I evaded, it's going to flip the thing back face down. All right. Next, I'm going to move. So this is connected to any up location. So I will move and flip 180 degrees to go to this one. Then I'm going to investigate this location 6 to 3 with Eyes of the Dreamer. I'm not going to spend any charges. I pass and I get to heal again. I will heal a horror. I'll get 1 clue. And then I will use my captivating performance to do an activate action and do it again. We succeed, get a clue. I'll spend 2 clues to go ahead and reveal a location. We'll pick this one. This one goes towards an up location and rotates you 90 clockwise. All right, meanwhile, over here, Marion, I'm going to gain a resource and then spend them to get out a hollowed mirror. This will go into my hand, the rest gets shuffled into the deck. Last action, I'm going to go ahead and play a Soothing Melody and heal a horror off of you and a horror off of this to get rid of it. And then I will have this, I'll draw a card and then it gets shuffled in. And then I'll use my ability to draw another card. I'll go ahead and play this Soothing Melody to heal. Actually, do I have a Winging It in the discard? I do, but I can't do anything else here. So, yeah, I'll just play this other Soothing Melody, heal 2 damage, draw a card, and then shuffle. Okay, dokie. All right. That is it. Go to enemy phase. No enemies. Upkeep. Another Eyes of the Dreamer. Mythos. Second Doom. Hybrid Infiltrator, location with the lowest shroud. It is a tie. Because everything is 3, except for 1 location. So I'll just put you here. All right, and then over here, incalculable angles. My orientation does match, so I'll be 3 to 3. And unfortunately, there's not much I can do about this. All right, 3 to 3. I actually passed. I kind of wanted to be moved, but that's okay. Okay. So there's one location left I need to reveal. So I just need to get over there. This is connected to any locations that are oriented right. As much as I would love to go and do stand together, I don't think it's going to be that helpful because it's just going to put me a step closer to discarding my hand. So let's go. Yeah, this is the only location that's not revealed. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and start with Agnes then. Oh, actually, first. Left. So Marion is in a little bit of trouble. And I don't really have a solution. I mean, I could fight this guy. I can do a sweeping kick. That's pretty much all I can do, is I can do a sweeping kick to kind of force him to be evaded. Otherwise, I'm just going to get punched for a bunch. Alright, well, let's start with Agnes. Agnes is going to engage this guy. I will go ahead and fight this guy using a sword cane. This will put us at 7 to 3. We kill him, I get a clue, I'll spend those clues to go ahead and reveal the last location. Goes to a right location, rotates 90 degrees counterclockwise. Alright, all locations have been revealed, we immediately advance. The non-Euclidean pillars, after all that you have seen, you are surprised to find some method to the madness at hand. The perspectives make sense in highly specific circumstances, impossible to truly comprehend, but like advanced scientific theories, still work in practice. Through much trial and error, you finally can make your way to the base of these pillars. Set aside a copy of Impossible Pillar into play in the following orientations in order until all are in play: down, right, left, and up. So unfortunately, well, the good news is we have one less to worry about, but unfortunately, up is the one that's left alone. I don't know if any of these are actually different, so I'm just going to put them out. I shuffled them. Oh yeah, they are different. So it was it. Down, left, down, put you down here actually, down, left, or sorry, down, right, yeah, sorry, it's down, right, left, then up. So right and left. Okay. Reverse architectured. These pillars made in imitation of the unknowable must be toppled. Only once they lie in broken ruin can this unnatural place return to whence it came. Action, you can still rotate yourself as always, and spin clues to make it faster. Each relay location gains non-Euclidean, place one horror on this location. Cool, I didn't think... Yeah, that's a thing. We don't get clues from killing enemies anymore, it looks like. Reaction after you move to a location, if the orientation of your investigator mini card matches that location, take a move action. Limit 3 times per turn. So you can speed run now. When a story card enters the directory display, you must immediately advance. Okay. So each relay location gets place 1 horror on this location, whatever that means. But I guess I can read these. Impossible Pillars, 5 Shroud. They need clues. They all have the same amount of clues. Okay. Yeah, they're all the same rules. All right. 5 shroud, 4 clues. Impossible pillars connected to each location with the same orientation as itself, and vice versa. As a action, you can remove 2 or horror among other locations with the same orientation to discover a clue from impossible pillar. Lightning bolt, if there are no clues on impossible pillar, flip it and resolve the story text on the other side. Okay, so we can either do the run around and put horror on everything, or we can, which we can take advantage of with the ability here, or we can just go here, and if we have enough cluing ability, we can just grab all the clues off of it. All right, cool. So we did all that, and this was investigation phase, sorry. All right, well, it's still my turn. Warped Island is connected to each other revealed relay location in play that is oriented left. So I can move to this. This is a relay location. So I move. So what I did was I engaged. I fought. Yeah, I won't be able to do another action, unfortunately. And is it whenever you move? Okay, I place a horror on this location when I move. Okay, well, I will just move. This is going to flip me 180 degrees, which is fine. I'll place a horror on this location. And then that'll be it for me. So I engaged, I fought, I moved. I still have one action I can do, which is going to be an activate action to rotate my card 90 degrees in any direction. So I'll rotate so I can match this location. Okay. And that is it on my end. Actually, no, I will not do the rotation. Instead, I am going to do a play action. I'm going to go ahead and do a Uncage the Soul and play a Breath of the Sleeper. Because I'm going to end up discarding my hand anyway, so I might as well just do it this way. Alright, meanwhile over here with Marion, you got Cthulhu to deal with. Good luck. I can try tanking. I could tank a hit. That is an option, is I can just go and tank a hit. I will flip 180 degrees if I move from here and take a damage. But that'll at least get me all the way to Impossible Pillar. I can also discard the top card of my deck and go over to where Agnes is at. And I think that might be the play. Alright, I will go ahead and move. This is going to trigger a bunch of things. I'm going to lose the top card of my deck. I will take a damage. I will get hit by Cthulhu. I'll take a damage here, a damage here, a horror here, and a horror here. And I already discarded the top card of my deck so I can stay at the same orientation, and then I can move to any locations not connected, which this is only connected to right locations, so I can go straight to Impossible Pillar. So I go to Impossible Pillar. I'm going to go ahead and play a Stand Together at this point. Gain 2 resources, draw 2 cards. Gain 2 resources, draw 2 cards. Okay. Then I'm going... Oh, also, since I left a location, I will put a horror here. Alright, I will use my ability off of this to draw a card. I do have a winging in here. The ability I'll chain off of this is a winging it. This will be 4 to 4. We'll go 6 to 4, 7 to 4. All right, we do pass. I am the same I didn't fail the test, so I'm good to go. This will go back into my hand because it was an event. This will heal a damage and horror off of you. I will get 2 clues off this location. All right, next I will go ahead and, as my last action, I will investigate one more time. But before I do that, I will spend 1 to go ahead and do it. I can hold off on the trusted, actually. I'll investigate using nautical charts. This will put us at 5 to 5. We'll go 6 to 5. We passed, just barely. I'm going to go ahead and discard a... There's kind of a lot of choices here. I will discard a trusted. As much as I would love to do use the agents, this is just easier. So I get 2 clues off of this, and then I can immediately, if there are no clues on the impossible pillar, flip it and resolve the story text on its other side. Yeah, and I'm also was the same orientation, so I was able to get these clues in the first place. So I just kind of went here for no particular reason. Arcane Pillar. An additional protective ward surrounds this pillar, racking the bodies of anyone who approaches. You will have to withstand this power as you work to unravel the seal around it. Choose an investigator at this location to do Intelligence Combat 4. This test gets plus 4 difficulty. An investigator at this location may exhaust Warped Idol or Immutable Sigil to give it a plus 2. Okay. Well, we'll do it then. So right now I am 8 to 8. I am 8 to 8. I will pick myself to do it. That's fine. We'll go 9 to 8. And that should be good. Yeah, I'll just go 9 to 8 with Eyes of the Dreamer, thanks to Agnes. Yeah, I have Intelligence and Combat 4. This is going to get... Okay, yeah. So I am 9 to 8. I pass. If you succeed, you gradually grow familiar with the ebb and flow of the energy and divert it back at the pillar itself, tearing away a considerable chunk of the stone. Discard each card attached to this location and move this card to the victory display. Move each investigator and enemy at this location to Ruins of Rillier. When a story card enters the victory display, you must immediately advance. Alright, Spatial Collapse. If there are 1 or more impossible pillars in play, as the pillar crumbles and folds out of existence, space buckles and the island seems to turn on its end. You dig your fingers into the soapy rock and pray that you're still right side up when the distortion recedes. Flip back to Act 2A. Okay. So we got that going for us. That is it. He's only attacking left right now, so we're okay. Nothing going on in the enemy phase. Upkeep. That's useful. It's going to be a shame when I have to discard it. We do advance. Master of the Broken Space. If there is fewer than 3 horror on this agenda, the pursuit drags on, and each moment brings the creature's thundering stride and lumbering grass closer. Place 1 horror on this agenda, and then flip it back to 2A. Okay, so what this is going to do is we're going to be drawing 2 of these inescapable reaches now, which means skulls are going to be probably -3 from now on. Unless I evade the guy. Alright, so here goes nothing. Bad cards first. Another one of these. I can ward it, so I'm going to. I'm going to ward this, eat up a charge off of this, and discard it. And then we got a Lucid Worshipper here. Okay, investigation. And then do this, shuffle. Down and right. Okay, we're at an up location, so we're, well, the bad news is he's looking at the locations we need to go to. But other than that, we're sort of okay. All right. So from Ruins of Relie, we can only go to a warped island from here. So the more you know, I guess. All right. Let's start with Agnes. I'm going to go ahead and attempt to blast this Lucid Worshipper with a Shriveling. This will put us at 9-3. Okay, I do pass. I will take 2 Horror, which I'll just put here. And kill this guy off. Oh, actually, one of it's going to get one of it will get soaked. Okay. So that was my first action, was a fight. Next, I'm going to move. Then I'm going to activate. Horror's going to get placed on that. I shuffle my deck. And then I'm going to activate this location and move to any revealed location and take whatever orientation. So I'll move to here. I will take a damage or horror, which will get soaked. And then so I fought, I moved, I activated, and now I'm going to evade with Sword Cane, and we'll go 7-4 against Cthulhu. We passed, and I get to heal a horror. All right, so I get to pick that matches your orientation. So it's going to be this down is going to go away. All right, that makes skulls a little easier. We didn't get any cultists, so we're good on that front. I'll heal a horror off of you. You're good to go. All right. Marion, I'm going to go ahead and have you move up to here, which is going to shuffle your deck. Oop. And then I'm going to move again. I'm going to take a damage, which I'll put here. I could set myself to any orientation. I will set myself to down orientation. And then I'm going to investigate this location with a nautical chart. Actually, no. I'm going to go ahead and do a soothing melody. But before first I will exhaust her and grab a clue from here. Then I'll do a soothing melody. And I'll heal a horror off of her, a horror off of her. Draw a card. This will get shuffled back in. Use my ability. Draw yet another card. And I will go ahead and play the other soothing melody. And I will heal 2 damage off of myself. And draw a card. And shuffle this back in. Oh, wait. I can't do that. I think I made that mistake in the past, too. It has to be a different card. So that was my mistake. I'm just going to shuffle and not worry about it. So I still have the 2 damage. I'll just do a winging it. So I'll be 4-4 here. I'll commit these 2 to go 6-4. And then I will play a lucky to pass. Draw a card. I'll get a clue off of this. And these will still go back in my hand because I passed the test on an event. So yeah, that was my bad. I think I may have made that mistake in the past. I was pretty good about avoiding it. But yeah, her ability specifically says a different event. So it has to be different by name. So if I made that mistake, I apologize. All right, enemy phase. Nothing going on there. Upkeep. Oh, good. Get to play that. Another soothing melody. Mythos. We're at first doom. I'm going to go ahead and just do this now. It's right and up. Dimensional fold. This is going to be a 4 to 5 test. I'm just going to spend one and say no to it. Over here. Inconceivable Vistas. Willpower 4 if you fail, take 1 horror and rotate your investigator mini card 90 degrees counterclockwise. If you fail by 2 or more, rotate your investigator mini card by an additional 90 degrees counterclockwise. Okie dokie. Don't really have anything I can do about this. So I'm going to end up rotating a bunch. Alright, yeah. I fail. If you fail, then after this test resolves. Okay, so what's going to end up happening is I'm going to rotate counterclockwise, 90 degrees. I fail by 2 or more, so I rotate again, and then this is going to make me rotate another 90 degrees, either clockwise or counterclockwise. I'll just keep going. This pretty much just means I could spin a clue to rotate to where I need to be. All right, and I did the cards already, so we're ready to go. Okay. I'm going to start with Marion. First, I'm going to spend a clue to rotate, like so. Yeah, I can do 90 degrees clockwise or counterclockwise, so we'll do that. Oh, I have to put a clue on my location. Never mind. Never you mind. I'll just do an action then to do that. All right. Next, I will go ahead and spend one to investigate with a winging it from the discard. This is going to put us at 4 to 4 again. I am going to commit 2 determines to go 6 to 4. All right, we do pass barely. I get both clues here. The determines go back into my hand. This is going to get shuffled back into the deck. And then I can use my ability to draw a card. And then I will play a Soothing Melody off of this to heal 2 horror, draw a card, and then shuffle this back into the deck. Oh, also, I did fail a test. I should have taken 1 horror. So what I would have done is I would heal the horror instead. Okay. I still have an action remaining. I'm going to go ahead and Lightning Bolt, flip this over. All right, this is Combat and Agility. This test gets +2 difficult, so it's going to be difficulty 8. The space around this pillar is strangely normal, but it lies nestled amid jagged rocks, ledges, and treacherous chasms. This trek will push your body to its limit. Okay, I will go ahead and commit. Can I get any commits over here? Oh, is it Combat and Agility? Okay, Agnes is going to commit a Sword Cane. This will bring us from 7 to 8, or 7 to 8 to 9 to 8. I will go 10 to 8, 11 to 8. And we pass. That was -3. So I do pass. You press on through the hazardous landscape, finally making your way to the sturdy pillar. From there, it is a thankfully simple matter of leverage to dislodge its keystone. Okay, so this gets put there. We get yanked back to here, which is in Cthulhu's Gaze. And we do flip this over. There's still 1 more in play, so we're not going to worry about it. And then for the last action, I will try to do something about this guy. Oh, also a horror should be placed on this. Not that it matters. I'm not using the horror at all to do what I need to do here. All right, yeah, last action, I will spend 1 to do a sweeping kick. This will be 7 to 4. Good luck. We succeed. He will be evaded. This will be for up. All right, meanwhile, so he's looking at the other location, which is always annoying. This was committed. I will go ahead and spend 3 to get out the Crystalline Elder Sign, get +1 to all my stats, and seal +1. So I do a play action. I'll do a move action. I'll shuffle the deck because of that. I will then do an activate action, take a horror or damage as a result. I will move here and go to this orientation, and then I will do captivating performance to do a sword cane to evade at 8 to 4. Good to go. Yeah, we're good to go. This will flip this over. Okay. Enemy phase, nothing going on there. Upkeep. All right, got our dark memory. Second doom. I'll go ahead and resolve this real quick. So it's going to be left and down. All right, we're safe for this round. Okay, I have to do this test. I'm 7 to 4. I have to reveal this, and I'll take a damage, and I'll get soaked. Actually, I'll auto-fail. So I auto-fail. My orientation does match. There might have been some elder cultists that I forgot to resolve properly, because there were a few times where my thing was not matching. So that's my bad. It would have been just one horror, which would not matter for Agnes. But feel free to point them out, but I don't think it's going to make a difference. As you can see, I'm pretty healthy at this point. In any case, I'm going to rotate twice. Okay. And then over here. Does it do a damage as well? Oh, it does. So I'll soak that as well. Okay, corrupting influence. Cool. All right, investigation phase. I'm going to start with Agnes. Actually, no, I will start with Marianne. Left and down. Okay, so going from Cyclopean or Acropolis is going to be a problem. I'll end up taking a punch there. So I'm going to move twice. Shuffle the deck for one of them. Oh, I don't have a deck to shuffle. I am going to get hit for 2 and 2. And I will also take a horror, which I'll put on her. And then I'll move and orient myself to there. Okay. Next, I'm going to go ahead and do I will lightning bolt, put a horror on here to grab 1 clue. And then I'm going to do a true awakening and grab another clue. And heal a horror off myself. And then I'm going to use my ability to draw a card and then play another event. I'm going to play Fortuitous Discovery. I can't afford it. I will play a Winging It. It'll be 4 to 4 here. I'll commit a Determined. I'll be 5 to 4. Actually, I'm not going to do that. We'll just do a Soothing Melody. I'll pick the 3 option. I'll heal a horror off of you and 2 horror here. And then I will take a horror, shuffle, and draw. And then that'll be it. All right. Agnes is going to flip twice. And then try to investigate. I will spend 3 charges. That was a lot more than 3. Nope, couldn't get it to work. I was seeing if I could be cheeky about it. All right, it's going to have 3 left. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, wow, look at that combo. Well, I get 1, I can pass. Actually, no, I won't. I cannot actually pass the test. Yeah, these are actually all fails. That's impressive. Yeah, because right now I have 7. It's 7 to 5 right now. So I do not make it. Also, I forgot to place the horrors that have been for my movements, which actually should be a lot of them. There should be actually a ton of things here. Well, I failed to investigate, unfortunately, and that is it on for this round. I'll go ahead and reveal Dark Memory. I will soak a horror and put one on Pizza for Sylvester and then heal it off. Alright. Yeah, I'll just do upkeep then. I have to discard. I'll discard a Winging It. Mythos. It's going to advance. We're going to get a third horror at this point. Yeah, so we add a horror, and so now we're going to get 3 of these at a time. And if we do this one more time, he's going to pretty much be fully awake. So, up, right, and down. So we do have him looking at us. Damn Dreamer, Humanoid Cultist, Lunatic, 5 fight, 2 evade, 3 health, Hunter alert. After it attacks you, you rotate, hits for 1 horror. Abyssal Visions, that's a problem. Alright, Investigation. Okie dokie. So we need to get Cthulhu off our back. Skulls are -4 right now, by the way. I'm going to go ahead and start by blasting this Dreamer. We'll go 10 to 5. He's dead. Alright, next I'm going to go ahead and try to evade Cthulhu. So right now we are 8 to 4 with Sword Cane. Oh, actually, before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and do Sign Magic and use Eyes of the Dreamer. I will spend 3 charges. Perfect. I'll pick the -1, so I get 2 clues. Alright, change of plans then. Instead of doing Sword Cane, I'm just going to Lightning Bolt. Agility and Intelligence. Okay. The distortions of reality have hidden this pillar in a labyrinth of bent space. It will take considerable time and concentration to properly navigate through. So it's difficulty 8. I currently have... It's 8 to 8, thankfully, thanks to all my buffs. Fortunately, I only have one thing I can commit. Over here, we can commit a... Determined. That's it. Sure, we'll commit a Determined. And I'll commit a Deny Existence. So that'll be 10 to 8. Good luck. That is a fail. So what happens when I fail? Alright, the divergent paths lead you through repetitive cycles and dead ends that tax your psyche with each fault. Each investigator at this location discards the top 3 cards of their deck. The performing investigator discards an additional 2 cards and draws each weakness discarded. Then you go to if you succeed. 1, 2, sorry about that. 3, 4, 5. So these... My burn after readings were all on the bottom. Awesome. Thank you, game. That's what I hope for. Alright, I have to discard everything from the Amnesia, except for 1 card. And then for you, this will get discarded, and then top 3. But you don't have to worry about weaknesses. Okay. The bent realities finally converge at the base of the pillar, giving you the opportunity to find and deface the most crucial carvings. Discard each card attached to this location, move everyone over, and we advance. Spatial collapse. The final pillar cracks and dissolves into the fragmented atmosphere with a hollow echo. Air and water rush in and around from all sides in a complete reversal of the event that brought Relia to the surface. The sky spins one direction and the ground in the opposite, but through it all you see the figure of Cthulhu reaching towards you in a dark fury. Resolution 4. Space unfolds around you in a terrifying cascade, stone flowing like water as the dim green glow of Relia illuminates each faucet. The Lord of Mad Dreams towers above you, assailing your mind maliciously as it swings its great arm down, but the blow never lands. Your eyes snap open, and you gasp in shock, only to be met with silence and steady rocking. The light drizzle of rain and on glass and the rhythmic creaking of wood sounds dully around you. You are in a ship's cabin, lying on a small cot. You sit up and try to recount your last memories as the cabin door opens. My God, you live after all. The familiar raspy voice of Sukimon precedes him as he steps down into view. Still dazed, you fall back to the cot and ask the old sailor just what had happened. The sea led me to you, as I said it would, Sukimon says, crouching beside you. I waited for nearly half a day before that strange island disappeared, and the volcano with it. You were adrift in the caldera when I found you. God knows how you survived such a cataclysm. But you are fortunate indeed. He claps your shoulder with a hearty laugh and descends further into the cabin to find you food and drink. You close your eyes as you wait, thinking on the trials and hardships you've faced these past 2 months, of the dark dreams beginning to fade, and of the conspiracy that all began with a simple letter. Does this evil lurk in every corner of the world, simply waiting for a chance to surface? If so, you pray that they are not so widespread and organized as the cult of Cthulhu was. You have a long journey ahead of you back to Arkham, and if any vengeful members of the cult survive, you hope that you escape their notice. Investigators escape from Relie. Cthulhu slumbers in the deep once more. You take 1 physical and 2 mental trauma, and then we get Victory X and 5 bonus experience, and you win the campaign. All right, epilogue. All right, in contrast to your initial journey to Cyclopean, you take a much slower route back to Arkham. Though the immediate danger has passed, you still don't know how the cult of Cthulhu coordinates worldwide. Anyone you pass at the docks could be secretly among their ranks, waiting to strike at any time. Long tense weeks pass before you finally make berth at Kingsport and return to the snowy streets of Arkham once more. We definitely have 20 plus notice. Despite tranquility, you've never felt more tense walking through Arkham in broad daylight. You listen carefully for any footsteps but your own, keeping your head down and avoiding stopping until you are safely home with the door bolted. You peek through the curtains to scan the street, and barely visible through the snow, a lone figure in a trench coat stares back at you before dousing a cigarette and striding slowly away. Everyone gets a humanoid weakness. Doesn't really matter unless you're doing like some sort of gauntlet where you're playing through all the back-to-back campaigns. But just out of curiosity. Stubborn Detective, and an Accursed Follower. That would have been the curses for that. Okay. So yeah, like I said, I think the only mistake I may have missed was the cultist effect. I mean, in most cases, you notice I was making a strong effort to make sure I was oriented with the location so I can get the clues off of them. So a lot of times the cultist didn't matter, but there was a few situations where I wasn't oriented and I was fighting or evading or something along those lines. And that should have done a horror to me, but I was nowhere near. I was nowhere near death on this playthrough, so it didn't really matter too much. So Cyclopean Foundations is a lot of fun. I would say the first scenario is probably the roughest, which is not uncommon for campaigns. Being the first one being the roughest, but doing well and doing just okay on Lost Moorings is a difference of about 4 experience. Because if you're doing just barely enough to get by, like getting the 3 evidences instead of all of them, you're looking at just about 4 XP if you're lucky, and usually you're leaving because you're going to doom out anyway. I think my only issue, as far as just for me, is any sort of effects that go on locations that affect connecting locations or add something to connecting locations is very, very disorienting, which is, you probably have noticed if you saw my playthrough of Half-Life as well. And unfortunately, that was also in this campaign as well. It's not as bad as Half-Life, but it was definitely here. But the individual scenarios themselves are all actually pretty good. I liked Private Lives. I liked going to the auction place. There were a lot of situations where I didn't know what I was actually supposed to be doing, like in the case of the auction, whether or not I was supposed to get the auction items or not. And then there's, of course, the path, the options you had for Across Dreadful Waters. I've never actually done the other 2 routes in Across Dreadful Waters because I always try to reduce my my notice at that point. Because as you've noticed, you accumulated a lot of notice. Unfortunately, there's not really many ways to reduce your notice besides just purposely not grabbing victory. And even then, you also have to make sure you don't have cards that give you experience on top of that, like Great Work or Karen's Obel. So it's just kind of a mess all around. Like I said, all the effects are pretty fun. I think the only big mistake I made was on the Pyroclastic Flow, which thankfully it was easy enough to rewind and just adjust from there. Obviously, there's a headache with all the orientation stuff, which kind of makes sense for the theming. Also, I guess prior to the Drowned City, this was kind of the only campaign that had Cthulhu as the main baddie, because Innsmouth is not Cthulhu as far as I know. It's was it Dagon? And was it Dagon and Hydra? But yeah, I think this one's pretty good. It does lean on kind of the easier side with how much experience it gives you, because I ended this with a ton of XP. Now, to be fair, I also had arcane researches down the rabbit hole and great work, but even for Marion, who doesn't have any of those things, I had more XP than I knew what to do with, and eventually, picked up Observed and all that. Anyway, okay, yeah, I didn't even take an action with Marion this round, so I didn't have to worry about the Abyssal Visions. Anyway, as for Marion, obviously this was the new character I wanted to try out. She's very flexy as far as her stat line is concerned. Her stat line is kind of awkward in some cases, because obviously if you make her cleavers, you have to deal with that 3-buck. If you go combat, you have to deal with the fact that she's 4-fist and only has one hand. What you put in that one hand slot kind of does shape kind of everything she's going to do in the future. And if you happen to get that weakness that either takes up a hand slot or get tree hands or something along those lines, it can get pretty devastating. That being said, as a event-based investigator, she is a lot of fun. I definitely like this ability where you can draw a card and then play a different event. There's a lot of ways you can kind of chain that together that makes it work really, really well. I think it went rather well. The only thing I probably would have changed was maybe pick up some of the sweeping kicks and one-two punches a little bit earlier, just to have a little bit more options for fighting. But honestly, the usual trick of going like stick to the plan, stand together, and of course, Ever Vigilant is very solid. Ever Vigilant 4 is so good. If you're playing two-handed or playing with other people, and you're a guardian that has access to Ever Vigilant level 4, and stick to the plan, you're doing a disservice if you're not playing that card. Like, it's not even a fact that it's like overpowered or anything like that. It's more like it's so nice for everyone else to just save people so many actions and resources. But yeah, the specialist cards I took with her was, of course, True Awakening, which worked really well. She does get Nose to the Grindstone as well, which can be useful if you're using any tools, which the Nautical Atlas is actually a tool, so you could use that to get +2 to help with her mediocre intelligence stat. I was trying to make a focus more on the field agent stuff, where I would, use Trusted to get more use out of them, and then use the things like the Inspiring Presence to kind of get more out of it. I don't know if it actually worked as well as I wanted it to. It seemed more awkward. Like, I usually would have one or the other, and never both at the same time. And more often than not, once I actually had everything, and everything upgraded, I ended up not needing it as often as I would like, because I could just as easily just do my event play, chain it off as something else, and just do Wing Eats and Fortuitous Discoveries instead. That being said, as far as your options for cleaving, I mean, you can't really do too bad with just field agents. I mean, if you want to, there is a book-based one at level 0 that is where you do damage if you get clues. But other than that, I mean, you're probably better off just grabbing field agent regardless. One thing I could also have grabbed was Charisma, which getting 2 field agents out would at least get me up to a 5, which is a bit more respectable. And then having 2 field agents out, doing their ability, I think would have been better. So Charisma was probably something I should have grabbed at some point instead of maybe the Luckies, or Lucky level 2s rather. Obviously, True Awakening is really good. I think I said that already. The Glimmer of Hope was more just kind of here just so I can have something to start my events going if I needed them to. Like, if I didn't have anything in my hand and I had Glimmer of Hopes in the discard, I could just play it from the discard and then chain off of that. So that was kind of just all I had going on here. The Trusteds also were really good in the fact that they were fast, so I can play them and then use my ability to, again, chain off something else. It could also be a way to, like, do an action ability and not provoke, because I'll be chaining it off at Trusted. The this is probably my first run where I was using Soothing Melody, or not Soothing Melody, but Hollowed Mirror. And for Marion, it's really, really good. Like since you technically have like almost a free action that's purely for events, using it for a Soothing Melody is definitely not bad at all. And upgrading it also helped kind of stabilize our deck a lot more, because then I could just keep cycling over and over again and healing people. Agnes, this I think was our second time playing her. This is my first time where I focused more on the stat ball part of this. I mean, I've definitely gotten high willpower on Mystics before, but this is the first time I've done Crystalline Elder Sign with Pete Sylvester, and this stat line here is just beautiful. You can't go wrong with this. Captivating Performance, I don't know if I am playing it entirely correctly, but I believe I am, as far as how the rules go. Once I kind of understood that activates and the action attached to them are different, and you don't have to worry about fast actions breaking these things up, it's pretty good. I mean, it more or less kind of just ensures that you get to take one action that you didn't have time to do, like maybe draw a card, gain a resource, or move. Sign Magic, when it triggers good. Like I triggered this on the last turn and won the game because of it, thanks to Eyes of the Dreamer. But man, it costs 3 to get out. I'm torn between getting rid of this card or not, because a lot more often than not, I end up not needing this ability, because it's not the fact that I have to not only find this card, which is it's not a spell, so I can't get Arcane Initiate on it, but I also have to have I have to have 2 different spells out that I can, chain together in appropriate fashion. I mean, usually for Sign Magic, the idea is you use like your Shriveling, and then you use your your what you call it. Names are failing me. Rite of Seeking off of it. Kill something and then investigate in the same action. But in most cases, the more appropriate use is to have 2 different attack spells and then just use both of them, or 2 different investigate spells. But that's a lot to get out. I mean, just this here is 9 resources and 2 actions. It's just a lot to get out. Like I mentioned before, as for what I would change for how this deck start is, I would start with some emergency caches. It just needs more economy. The Forbidden Knowledges are really good, but they're not enough to keep up with the cost of all these spells. We did drop our death spell towards the end. It was still pretty good. I did use it on every other scenario, it felt like, and I usually didn't use it for the instant death part. I used it for the deal 3 damage to an elite part. Pete Sylvester, pretty straightforward. Arcane Initiate, I definitely have had no regrets. I mean, 3 experience is expensive, but being cost 0 and not having to worry about the Doom being placed is very helpful. Obviously, Breathless Sleep or Eyes of the Dreamer, we've kind of dabbled with both of them at this point, and they're really good. Honestly, even though I whiff on the charges when I do use them, there are a few times when I do hit with them, it definitely makes a difference. And even if I don't, the Spectral Shield was definitely the only reason Agnes is even alive at this point. Like, there are so many scenarios where I took upwards of like 10 damage and or horror throughout the entire scenario, and I just got to ignore it, because unlike things like Cthulhu and some of the big boss enemies and boss elites, most of the damage and horror you get throughout a scenario is mostly just little nickels and dimes. It'll just hit you for just 1 here, 1 there, and then eventually accumulates. Spectral Shield is essentially a hard counter against that. Granted, it does eat up your charges, but that's what Breath of the Sleeper and Eyes of the Dreamer are for. What's great about Breath of the Sleeper and Eyes of the Dreamer is they can work without charges. The charges are just for an added effect. So I'm definitely going to change the deck so I have 2 of these in the deck so I can guarantee grab it, because missing one, I was definitely terrified throughout this campaign. There was definitely a lot of effects that discard the top cards of your deck or removes them from the game. And I only have 1 Spectral Shield in this deck. So if I missed it, then I'm kind of screwed. And Agnes would have been I would have had to just hug Marion and hope that she has the mirror out to heal her. This is the first time I played with level 5 Shriveling. With Spectral Shield, it actually works rather well. I'm very terrified about taking 2 horror. I mean, granted, Mystics are generally designed to take horror, but with only 8 sanity, like, all it takes is a few symbols, and then you're just going to be out. And this kind of ensures that if I don't need to take the Horror to activate her ability, I can just put a point on Pete Sylvester and then use the Spectral Shield to soak. Spectral Shield with Pete Sylvester is a hard counter against Dark Memory, and I'm all for it. Yeah, Agnes has got these new cards from Drowned City have made Agnes very, very stable. Like I said, the only bad thing is once you have the Spectral Shield out, you need to find a way to get extra horror on yourself in order to actually activate her abilities. But you don't really need to activate her abilities if you're already hitting for 3 damage with Shrivelings and just blasting away with Sign Magic or something along those lines. So yeah, obviously we had Internal Injury, which would have been terrifying in most other decks, but with Spectral Shield, it was practically just a charge tax I had to pay every round. So not much else to say. Everything else was pretty straightforward. Obviously, we got upgraded Ward of Protections. The Deny Existences, unfortunately, just didn't really do much. I don't know if I would... Sorry, something popped up on my screen. I don't know why. Anyway, so I was talking about Deny Existence. Because I had Spectral Shield, I didn't really ever need to use it. And then the upgraded form, I never used a single time. It can be still used for things like if you lose resources or cards, but in this, a lot of the discards were not towards your hand, but rather from the top of your deck. And there was there was very few situations where we lost resources. There was just that one treachery that would drain resources when you moved and investigate, which was something I always forgot to keep track of. Uncage the Soul. So my original economy was Forbidden Knowledge and Uncage the Soul, and unfortunately, these two were just not enough together. So money was definitely an issue. Rite of Seeking, we did actually use it a few times. Mostly it was kind of a placeholder. I did build Agnes in this case was as just kind of full flex. But honestly, you can definitely get away with her being full combat now that there's enough combat specific and investigate specific spells. So there's definitely options there. Having the Fearless is definitely fine. It wasn't as needed because I had Marion to heal, but it was still good to have from time to time. The other big thing, of course, is I didn't ever... I think I used my Promise of Powers like 2 or 3 times if at all. It was just I just got my number big enough that it didn't really matter as long as I had a Sword Cane. Speaking of Sword Cane, the level 2 Sword Cane is so good. I kept forgetting that was a fast card too. I think I think when I first got it, I kept forgetting it was a fast, which definitely makes a huge difference because it doesn't take any actions to play, and then on top of that, I can still do a bunch of things with it, and it can do damage immediately. It's just really good. It also gives that +1 on top of it, which is also fantastic. So yeah, honestly, rather good. The only thing I'm probably concerned about as far as Marion is on normal difficulty, you probably have to have more ways to kind of get your number a little bit higher to deal with the -3, 4s, and 5s. But beyond that, yeah, I had a lot of fun with this. I believe there's only one more female investigator I have not played, and that is Gloria, who's kind of officially out now and no longer just a book investigator. I think I have her built as a Clover, so I'll need to go find another person to be the thug with her. And I haven't decided which campaign I'm going to do. I may do another custom campaign, or I may go and dip into maybe like Circle Undone or something. But you guys will find that out if you stick around and watch more of this. Sorry that you didn't get to see too much of Cthulhu. I don't think much would have changed once we got to the next part. I think it is just... I think it does all 4 revealed, and then if you doom out again, it's game over. So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and call it here. I am the Depressed Hero. This is Arkham Horror the Card Game, doing the Cyclopean Foundations by The Beard. Speaking of, The Beard's custom campaigns are almost all good. Actually, why am I saying almost? All the ones I've played have been good. They have flaws. They're not perfect, but like as far as like balance and just kind of the general... interesting mechanics they introduce and the story and stuff, I think they're all pretty good. So if you're ever wanting to do custom campaigns, anything from The Beard is usually kind of a safe pick. You don't have to worry about some weird shenanigans that some of the other ones may introduce or hit you with. Anyway, Cyclopean Foundations with Agnes Baker, Marion Tavares. We just did the Tomb of Dead Dreams and finished this campaign, and I'm out of here. See you guys next time.